My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. I saw the notification. It was a text from my sister. Jessica. I opened it. The message was a photo. Jessica was holding a champagne flute inside an airplane. She was wearing a new watch. A very expensive Rolex. The text underneath read Dubai. Baby. First class. By the way. Sis. Things are still so tight. I'm going to need another extension on that loan. You understand. She was not asking. She was telling me. She expected me to panic. She expected me to rage. She expected me to call her. Crying about my money. She has relied on my panic. And our family's panic. Her entire life. My panic is her control. My hands did not shake. I felt a cold. Sharp calm. I typed back one word. Noted. Jessica thinks she is starting a negotiation. She thinks she has all the power. She does not know. She does not know that this text is the final piece of evidence I need. She does not know that this text, and that photo of her Rolex, is Exhibit D in the lawsuit I am filing on Monday morning. She thinks she is on vacation. She is actually walking directly into a trap I set 6 months ago. My name is Sarah. I am an accountant. Numbers are my life. I do not deal in feelings. I deal in facts. I deal in spreadsheets. I deal in balances. For 8 years, I saved my money. Let's break that down. 8 years is 96 months. It is 416 weeks. It is 2,920 days. For 2,920 days, I lived like a ghost. I worked at a mid-level accounting firm. The pay was steady. It was not spectacular. I packed my lunch every single day. A turkey sandwich. An apple. I never bought the $7 salad from the cafe downstairs. I drove a 10-year-old Honda. Its paint was peeling on the roof. The air conditioning was broken. I drove in the summer heat with the windows down. I did not care. I skipped vacations. My friends went to Mexico. They went to Europe. They posted their photos. I stayed home. I picked up extra freelance tax work. I skipped parties. I skipped dinners I could not afford. I told my friends I was busy. I was busy. I was busy building my future. I had a spreadsheet. It was my life. Column A was my salary. Column B was my freelance income. Column C was my fixed expenses. Rent. Utilities. Insurance. My tiny student loan payment. Column D was my savings goal. I watched that number in column D grow. Dollar by dollar. It was painful. It was slow. But it was real. That money was not play money. It was not extra. It was $50,000. It was my house down payment. It was my security. It was my independence. It was the physical proof of my entire life's discipline. It was my future. 1 year ago, Jessica walked into my apartment and set that future on fire. I remember the day. It was a Tuesday. It was 7 o'clock in the evening. It was raining. She showed up at my apartment, unannounced. I opened the door, and the performance began. She was a mess. She was sobbing. Mascara ran down her face. She was wearing a white silk blouse, and she had deliberately smeared the mascara on it. Sarah, I'm ruined, she cried. She pushed past me into my small apartment. She claimed she was facing eviction. She said she had a final notice from her landlord. She claimed her car was about to be repossessed. She used the word bankruptcy 3 times. You are my only hope, she sobbed, grabbing my hands. Her hands were perfectly manicured. A fresh gel set. Red. $70. I noticed. An accountant always notices the details. You've always been the smart one. The responsible one. Please. Sarah, help me. I looked at her. I looked at her coat. It was a designer brand. It was new. I looked at her purse. It was a brand I recognized. It cost at least $500. The numbers did not add up. Her story was, I am bankrupt. The facts were, I have expensive, new things. This was the pattern. It had been the pattern our entire lives. Jessica created a crisis. My parents wrote a check. When she failed a college class, They paid for her to retake it. They said the professor did not understand her. When she maxed out her first credit card on clothes, they paid it off. They said she needed to look professional. When she crashed her first car, they bought her a new one. They called her spirited. They called her creative. They called me responsible. They said it like it was a boring, gray-colored word. Oh, Sarah will be fine. She's the responsible one. It was not a compliment. It was a cage. It meant Sarah will bear the burden. But our parents were retired now. Their well was dry. They had no more checks to write. So Jessica came to me. She was crying, but her eyes were cold. She was calculating. She looked around my small apartment. She looked at my old furniture, my faded sofa, my small television. She saw my spreadsheet open on my laptop. She did not see a life. She did not see my sacrifice. She saw a resource. She saw an ATM. I swear I'll pay you back. She said, just 6 months. 6 months. Tops. I just need to get back on my feet. I did not trust her tears. I am an accountant. I do not trust words. I trust documents. I will help you, I said. My voice was flat. But we are doing this my way. She looked relieved. Her tears started to slow down instantly. She thought she had won. I went to my desk. I turned on my computer. I did not use a napkin. I am not a fool. I opened my legal software. I have it for my small business clients. I pulled a standard template, a promissory note. I typed up a simple, one-page document. I was meticulous. I was an accountant building a fortress. I titled it Promissory Note. Paragraph 1, the loan amount, $50,000. I wrote it out 50000. Paragraph 2, the term, 6 months, 180 days. I listed the exact repayment date. Paragraph 3, the interest clause. This was important. I knew she would default. I set it at 10% annual interest, compounding monthly, to be applied after the repayment date had passed. Paragraph 4, the default clause. If the loan was in default, the borrower was responsible for all collection costs. Paragraph 5, the acceleration clause. This was the knife. If she missed the payment, the entire amount, plus accrued interest, was due immediately. Paragraph 6, the legal fees clause. If I had to hire a lawyer to get my money, she paid for it. I put a signature line at the bottom. I printed 2 copies. I went to the kitchen. I handed her a black pen. Jessica laughed. She actually laughed. A real, mocking laugh. Are you serious? Sarah A. Contract, I'm your sister. It is a promissory note. I said, it protects us both. It is for my records. She rolled her eyes. Whatever. Nerd. Fine. She picked up the pen. She scribbled her name at the bottom. She did not read a single word. This was her great mistake. She did not read the amount. She did not read the 6-month term. She did not read the 10% interest clause. She did not read the acceleration clause. She did not read the legal fees clause. She was arrogant. She was in a hurry. She just wanted the money. She signed her own financial death warrant. I took my copy. I signed it as the lender. I gave her the other copy. She shoved it into her expensive purse. She did not even look at it. Thank you. Sarah, you're a lifesaver, she said. Her tears were completely gone. She was already thinking about what she would buy. I went to my computer. I logged into my bank account, my high-yield savings account. I initiated the wire transfer. I typed in the number. Ling 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 ling. I had to do a 2-factor authentication. My phone buzzed. I entered the code. I clicked confirm. I watched my savings account balance. The number that had taken me 8 years to build. It dropped from $50,000 to $32.16. It felt like a physical blow. I felt sick. It's done, I said. She hugged me. It felt fake. Her perfume was expensive. I'll pay you back. I promise. She left my apartment. She was probably smiling before the elevator door closed. I took my copy of the promissory note. I put it in my fireproof safe. in a folder labeled Finances, Jessica. I sat at my kitchen table. I looked at my empty savings account. I did not cry. I opened my digital calendar. I counted forward 180 days. I made an appointment on that date. The appointment just said, "Follow up with Jessica." The 6 months passed. 180 days. The date on my calendar arrived. I sent the first email. It was polite. It was professional. "Hi, Jessica. Per our signed agreement copy attached, today is the repayment date for the $50,000 loan. Please let me know how you would like to arrange the transfer." I attached the scanned PDF of the note she had signed. The reply came an hour later. The first lie. "Oh my God. Sarah, the timing is terrible. My car just broke down. The transmission is gone. It's going to be thousands. I have to use the money for that. I'll pay you next month. I promise I am an accountant. I investigate." I replied, "I am sorry to hear that. Please send me a copy of the mechanic's invoice for my records, as we need to document the delay." Her text message came 2 minutes later. It was not polite. "Why are you harassing me?" I said I would pay you. "You're being so cold." She never sent the invoice. That was the red flag. That was the moment I knew. The loan was a lie. The bankruptcy was a lie. I opened my computer. I opened her social media pages. I had not looked at them in months. Her broken car was posted just 3 days earlier. It was a photo of her at a luxury spa. The caption, "Girl's trip number. Needed this number spa day." The lie and the proof. Side by side. I felt a cold, sharp anger. It was not the hot anger of betrayal. It was the cold anger of calculation. I opened a new folder on my desktop. I named it Jessica, Evidence. I right-clicked. I saved the screenshot of the spa trip. I saved the email about the broken transmission. I saved the harassing me text. I decided to wait. Month 7. I sent another email, following up on the defaulted loan. Per our agreement, interest is now accruing. The second lie. My cat is sick. The vet bills are piling up. It's thousands. I just can't swing it right now. Stop being a robot. Sarah, I went to her Instagram. That same week. A photo of her at a wine tasting festival. She was holding up a glass. Caption, "Living my best life. Vino." I saved the email. I saved the screenshot. Month 8. The third lie. My roof is leaking. It's an emergency. All my money is gone. Her Instagram. A new pair of designer shoes. She posted a photo of them. Caption, "Self-care is not selfish." I saved the email. I saved the screenshot. It became a pattern. A procedure. Month 9. My hours got cut at work. Her Instagram, front row seats at a concert. Month 10. My taxes were way higher than I expected. Her Instagram. A weekend trip to Miami. Bottle service at a nightclub. I documented everything. I built my case. I created a new spreadsheet. I loved spreadsheets. Column A, date of excuse. Column B, the lie. Column C, date of luxury purchase. Column D, screenshot of purchase. Column E, estimated cost of purchase. It was meticulous. It was undeniable. It was textbook fraud. I contacted a lawyer. I paid for a 1-hour consultation. I did not come in crying. I did not bring feelings. I brought my spreadsheet. I showed him the folder. I showed him the signed promissory note. He read the note. He looked at the 10% interest clause. He looked at the legal fees clause. He smiled. Then he looked at my spreadsheet. He looked at the screenshots. The spa. The shoes. The clubs. He looked at me. "You're an accountant, aren't you?" he said. "Yes." "You have her," he said. "This is not a family dispute. This is a breach of contract. The evidence is overwhelming. The social media posts prove she had the means to pay, but chose not to. That is textbook bad faith. The judge will not be happy with her. I paid him a retainer. Do not file yet." I said, "I want to wait. I want her to build a bigger case against herself. I want her to get more arrogant." He nodded. He understood. "Call me when you're ready." Which brings me to this morning. The final piece of the puzzle. The text from Dubai. The first-class ticket. the champagne, and the Rolex. She had not just spent my money, she was flaunting it. She was so arrogant. She sent the evidence directly to me. She believed I was weak. She believed I was the responsible one who would just absorb the loss. She believed our parents would side with her. Like they always did. She was right about that last part. They would. But she was wrong about me. I looked at the text on my phone one last time. Noted. I closed my phone. I opened my laptop. I opened the Jessica evidence folder. I dragged the screenshot of the Dubai text and the Rolex photo into the file. I renamed the folder. The new name was Jessica Lawsuit. I opened my email. I attached the entire folder. The spreadsheet. The note. All of it. I sent it to my lawyer. The subject line was simple. We are moving forward. File it on Monday. My lawyer filed the lawsuit. He was a good lawyer. He was expensive. He followed my instructions perfectly. He also sent a formal demand letter by certified mail to Jessica's apartment. This was a legal necessity. It was a procedural step. It gave her 30 days to respond before we officially served the papers. This letter was my masterpiece. It was not an emotional plea. It was an invoice. It included a copy of the lawsuit. It included a perfect, clean copy of the signed promissory note. I had him highlight the key clauses. The interest clause, the acceleration clause, the legal fees clause. The letter also included my spreadsheet. Column, a date of excuse. Column B, the lie. Column C, date of luxury purchase. Column D, screenshot of purchase. It included the screenshots. Exhibit A, the spa trip. Exhibit B, the designer shoes. Exhibit C, the Miami nightclub. And it included the final. Damning foto. Exhibit D, the Rolex. In Dubai. I waited. I knew she was still on vacation. The certified letter would be waiting for her at her post office. She would have to go and sign for it herself. 10 days later, my phone rang. It was Jessica. She was back. She had clearly just opened the envelope. I did not answer. It rang again. I did not answer. The text started. A flood of blue bubbles on my screen. Sarah, you have to answer me. My lawyer just called me. A demand letter. Are you insane? You can't sue me. I'm your sister. Pick up the phone. This is a joke. Write this spreadsheet. You are sick. I watched the texts roll in. I did not respond. A few minutes later, my phone rang again. I looked at the screen. It was my mother. I knew this call would come. Jessica's first move was never to solve the problem. It was to call the enablers. I answered, Sarah, what have you done? Her voice was not calm. It was hysterical. She was crying. Hello. Mom. I said, you are threatening your sister. Jessica just called me. She's in tears. She's stranded in Dubai. She might not be able to get home. I was confused. A genuine, accounting-based confusion. Stranded, I asked. She flew first class. She can fly, coach. You don't understand, my mother shrieked. She's going through a hard time. That trip was a gift. A gift from a friend. A lie. A stupid lie. A lie that was not even necessary. Mom. She bought a Rolex. I have the proof. She has been lying to me for a year. She has been lying to you. Too. It's just money. Sarah. My mother cried. That was the phrase. The one they always used. The phrase that meant my money did not matter. It is not just money. I said. My voice was cold. I was stating a fact from a balance sheet. It is $50,000. It is my house down payment. It is 8 years of my life. She's your sister, my mother sobbed. She is a person who committed fraud. I replied. She is a legal adult who signed a legal document. You are tearing this family apart, my mother screamed. Your father and I. We are so disappointed in you. You are being cold. You are being materialistic. Materialistic. That was funny. I was materialistic for wanting my own money back. Jessica was not materialistic for spending it on a Rolex. The family logic was broken. It was bankrupt. I am being an accountant. I said, I am collecting a debt. The debt is real. The contract is real. You have to stop this. Sarah, you have to call off the lawyer. We are family. You can come over. We will talk about it. Jessica will apologize. An apology. As if an apology was worth $50,000. No, I said. The time for family ended when she spent my money on a spa day. The time for talking ended when she got on a plane to Dubai. Her breakup was so hard on her. Her breakup was 3 years ago. Mom, stop making excuses for her. You are the reason she is like this. You and Dad. You built this. My mother gasped. I had never spoken to her like that. The responsible one was not supposed to talk back. The responsible one was supposed to shut up and pay. How dare you? She whispered. I have to go. I said, the lawsuit is moving forward. She has 30 days to respond to my lawyer. Goodbye. I hung up the phone. I was not shaking. I was not angry. I was just done. I was done being the responsible one. I was done being the family ATM. I was done being the boring, gray-colored wall that everyone leaned on. The wall was pushing back. My phone buzzed again. A text from my father. He was the calm one. The rational one. Dad, Sarah. Your mother is hysterical. We need to talk about this. No need for lawyers. This is a family matter. Come over for dinner on Sunday. We will work this out. Jessica will be here. We will fix this. He was trying to manage me, to placate me, to get me in a room where they could all pressure me. I typed back, no, a one-word answer. I then wrote, this is not a family matter. It is a legal matter. I have attached the evidence I sent to the lawyer. Please read it. You will see Jessica has been lying to you. 2. I attached the same zip file. The note. The spreadsheet. The photos. My father's reply came 2 hours later. I knew he had read it. I expected an apology. I expected him to say, I had no idea. This is terrible. We will handle this. I was a fool. I should have known better. His loyalty was not to the truth. His loyalty was to the fragile one. Dad, I have reviewed your evidence. Sarah, you are taking this too personally. A few nice dinners, a pair of shoes, you're the accountant. You're good with money. You will recover. You've always been strong. Your sister. She is fragile. She needs our support. He dismissed me. He dismissed my 8 years of work. He dismissed the signed legal document. He dismissed the clear, documented fraud. He called me strong and her fragile. That was the code. Strong meant I had to take the abuse. Fragile meant she was allowed to be the abuser. I felt something snap. The last thread of hope I had for my parents. The idea that they were fair. It just broke. I typed back a final message. I am not strong. I am tired. I am not recovering. I am collecting. Jessica is not fragile. She is a 34-year-old woman who committed fraud. She will be served papers in 30 days if she does not respond to the letter. Do not contact me about this again. I blocked his number. I blocked my mother's number. My phone rang again. An unknown number. I answered. I put it on speaker. I pressed record on my computer. It was Jessica. She was not crying. She was screaming. You, she shrieked. You think you can do this to me? You think you can sue me? You think you can send me that? That filth? Yes. I said, I can. And I am. This call is being recorded. Her voice changed. You can't record me. I just did. What do you want? Jessica, I am your sister. I will tell everyone what you are, a cold, heartless, money-grubbing, a miser. That's what you are. I cut her off. My voice was ice. You had money for a Rolex. Jessica. She paused. You had money for a first-class ticket to Dubai. That was a business trip, she stammered. A terrible lie. A business trip for what? You don't have a job. You don't know my life. I know your Instagram. I said, and my lawyer knows it. 2. You had money for the spa. You had money for the Miami nightclub. You had money for the designer shoes. You had money for the concert. She was silent. She was stunned. She did not know I had been watching. I am an accountant. Jessica, I have a spreadsheet. I have a timeline. I have every lie you told me. And I have every purchase you made. You spied on me, she whispered. You posted it on Instagram. I said, you were arrogant. You were sloppy. You wanted everyone to see how well you were doing. You bragged. And I saw. The screaming stopped. The fear began. Sarah, please, she said. Her voice changed. The waterworks were starting. The tears were back. I can't pay that. Not all at once. 50,000. You'll ruin me. You had 30 days. I said, that was your chance to call my lawyer and make a payment plan. You chose to call Mom and Dad instead. To try and bully me. That was a bad move. It's just money, she cried. It's my house. I said, it's my future. You stole it, and I am taking it back. But, you should read the note you signed. Jessica, the one you laughed at. What note, she said. The promissory note. I said, the one you signed without reading? The one that says you pay for my lawyer? The one that says 10% interest? The one that says the entire amount is due now? You trapped me, she shrieked. No. I said, I did not. You signed a document. You broke the contract. I am enforcing it. This is not a family drama. This is a business transaction. And you are a very, very bad investment. I hung up the phone. I saved the audio file. I named it Jessica, Confession. I emailed it to my lawyer. My apartment was quiet. He felt no guilt. IV felt no sadness. I felt calm. I felt the cold, clean piece of a balanced spreadsheet. The 30 days passed. My lawyer's paralegal called me. Jessica has not responded. She said, of course she hasn't. I said, she thinks this is a family fight. She thinks I am bluffing. So, we are serving the papers. Yes. I said, serve them. The war had begun. Serving the papers was a formal process. My lawyer hired a process server. Jessica was not easy to find. She knew the papers were coming. She started hiding. She did not answer her door. She stopped posting on social media. She went dark. She thought if she could not be served, the lawsuit could not happen. She was, as usual, wrong. My lawyer filed for, and was granted, alternative service. They served her at her workplace. A man in a suit walked into her office, a place where she pretended to be important. He walked up to her desk. In front of all her colleagues, he said her full name, Jessica Ann Miller. Yes, she said. You've been served. He placed the thick envelope of legal documents on her desk. He turned. He walked away. The humiliation was public. It was immediate. This was not a private family matter anymore. This was a public legal action. The court date was set. 6 weeks away. Small claims court. The reaction was immediate. Jessica did not call me. She knew I had blocked her. She weaponized the extended family. My phone, which had been silent, exploded. It was a coordinated attack. The first text came from my Aunt Clara. Aunt Clara Sarah. I am shocked. Your mother told me what you are doing. Suing your own sister. Your grandmother is heartbroken. I did not reply. The second text came from my cousin Mark. Cousin Mark heard you're taking Jessica to court. Seriously harsh. Sarah. We don't do that in this family. I did not reply. An email from an uncle. A Facebook message from another cousin. They all said the same thing. You are being harsh. She's your sister. You're tearing the family apart. This is not about money. It's about family loyalty. You're embarrassing us all. They were an army of flying monkeys. Sent by Jessica. They had heard only her side of the story. They heard Sarah is suing me over a small loan. They did not hear I stole $50,000 and spent it on a Rolex. I knew this would happen. I was an accountant. I had anticipated this variable. I had prepared for it. I went to my computer. I opened the Jessica lawsuit folder. I took the most important files. File 1, the signed promissory note. File 2, the spreadsheet of lies versus Wanna. Purchases. File 3, the screenshot of the I'm broke text. File 4, the screenshot of the first-class Dubai photo. File 5, the screenshot of the Rolex. I compiled them into a single 5-page PDF document. I named it the fax. PDF. I opened my email. I started a new message. I typed in the email addresses of every single person in my family. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, all the people who had texted me, all the people who had judged me. I wrote a simple subject line, the facts regarding the lawsuit. I did not write an emotional letter. I wrote one single sentence. Since you are all now involved in this matter, please see the attached facts. I attached the facts. PDF. I hit send. Then, I waited. The silence was deafening. The text stopped. The emails stopped. The Facebook messages stopped. The army of flying monkeys was silent. They had seen the undeniable proof. They had seen the signed note. They had seen the spreadsheet. They had seen the lies. They had seen the Rolex. There was no defense for it. There was no going through a hard time that could explain this. It was cold. Hard fraud. Documented. Jessica was isolated. Her poor me story had been blown up by 5 pages of simple, undeniable facts. I had not just filed a lawsuit against her. I had filed a report on her character to the entire family. She had no allies left. Except 2. 2 weeks before the court date, my doorbell rang. It was 8 o'clock at night. I looked through the peephole. It was my parents. I had not spoken to them in weeks. Ever since I blocked their numbers. They looked tired. They looked old. I opened the door. We need to talk. My father said. I did not invite them in. I stood in the doorway. There is nothing to talk about. I said. The court date is in 2 weeks. Sarah, please. My mother said. She was crying. Real tears this time. You are destroying this family. You are destroying your sister. Jessica destroyed herself. I said. She made her choices. I am just holding her accountable. My father sighed. He reached into his pocket. He pulled out his checkbook. This was it. The final move. The one I had been expecting. The bailout. We have a proposal. My father said. He was trying to sound reasonable. Like this was a business meeting. Your mother and I. We will pay you. We will pay half of what she owes you. $25,000. Right now. You can drop the court case. You can unblock our numbers. And we can put this whole ugly business behind us. We can be a family again. He was holding the pen, ready to write the check. $25,000. It was a lot of money. It would have been an easy solution. I could take it. I could get half my money back. I could end the stress. I could have peace. But it would not be peace. It would be a surrender. It would be teaching them, once and for all, that Jessica could do anything, and she would never have to pay for it. It would mean I paid for her Rolex. It would mean I paid for her trip to Dubai. It would mean they successfully bought my silence for $25,000. I looked at the checkbook in my father's hand. I looked at my mother's tear-stained face. I felt nothing. No, I said. My father's face froze. What no? Sarah, be reasonable, he said, his voice rising. This is a generous offer. It's half. It's more than you'll probably get in court anyway. Just take the deal. This is not about the money anymore. I said, not just. What is it about? Then my mother wept. Your pride. It is about consequences. I said, my voice cold and clear. This is not your debt. It is hers. You will not bail her out again. You have been bailing her out her entire life. That is why we are here. She is our daughter, my mother cried. And what am I asked. Am I just the bank? Am I the responsible one who is supposed to finance her mistakes and then be quiet about it? They were silent. I am not taking your money. I said, you are not fixing this. For once in her life, Jessica is going to stand in front of a neutral third party, a judge, and she is going to explain her actions. She is going to explain the Rolex. She is going to explain the lies. She could lose her car, my mother said. They could garnish her wages. Those are called consequences. I said, she should have thought about that before she signed the promissory note. She should have thought about that before she boarded a plane to Dubai. My father's face was red with anger. You are tearing this family apart. Sarah, I hope you know that, after this, I don't know how we come back from this. He was threatening me. He was threatening to disown me. All because I refused to be stolen from. I already know how. I said, I'm not the one who tore this family apart. She did. And you did. You let her do it. I looked at both of them. I will see Jessica in court. Do not come here again. I closed the door. I double-locked it. I leaned against the door. I did not cry. I felt free. The last chain was broken. It was not about family anymore. It was about justice. The final countdown to the court date had begun. The morning of the court date, I woke up early. I did not feel nervous. I felt prepared. I am an accountant. I was going to an audit. I dressed in my most professional suit. A simple, dark gray suit. A white blouse. I put my hair in a neat bun. I picked up my briefcase. Inside was one file. Jessica, lawsuit. It was perfectly organized. Exhibit A, the promissory note. Exhibit B, the spreadsheet of lies. Exhibit C, the folder of color-printed screenshots. Exhibit D, the certified mail receipts. Exhibit E, the audio file of her confession on a USB drive. Just in case. I had everything. I arrived at the courthouse an hour early. I sat in the hallway. I reviewed my notes. My lawyer was with me. He was not allowed to speak in small claims court, but he was there to observe and handle the final judgment paperwork. He looked at me. You're ready, he said. I am, I replied. At 9:50, 10 minutes before the hearing. They arrived. Jessica walked in first. She was not dressed for court. She was dressed for a brunch. She was wearing expensive designer clothes. A bright red dress, high heels. Her hair was perfectly done. She was trying to project success. She thought this would intimidate me, or the judge. She looked annoyed. Not scared. She still thought this was a joke. And then I saw it. She was wearing the Rolex. She actually wore the Rolex to the courthouse. The arrogance was unbelievable. She was wearing Exhibit D on her wrist. This was not just arrogance. It was stupidity. Behind her. My parents shuffled in. They looked terrible. My mother's eyes were red and puffy. My father looked gray. They saw me. I looked at them. I did not smile. I did not nod. I looked through them. They were strangers. They had made their choice. They sat down behind Jessica. A sad, broken wall of support. At 10 o'clock, the bailiff called the case. Sarah Miller versus Jessica Miller. We went inside. The courtroom was small. The judge was a woman in her 60s. She had a look of extreme impatience. She had seen everything. She called my name. Plaintiff. Present your case. I stood up. I walked to the podium. I did not look at Jessica. I did not look at my parents. I looked at the judge. Good morning, Your Honor. My voice was clear. It did not shake. 1 year ago, I lent my sister, the defendant, $50,000. This money was my entire house down payment. It represented 8 years of my work. I am an accountant, so I do not lend money without documentation. I placed the first document in front of her. Exhibit A is the promissory note. It was signed by the defendant on October 26th, 2024. It details the amount, $50,000. It details the repayment term, 6 months. It details the 10% compounded interest upon default, and it details that the defendant is responsible for all legal fees. The judge read the note. She looked at Jessica's signature. Proceed, she said. The 6-month term expired on April 26th, 2025. The defendant defaulted on the loan. I placed the next document down. Exhibit B is a spreadsheet. It documents every time I contacted the defendant for payment, and it documents her response. I will walk you through the pattern. The judge put on her glasses. She read the spreadsheet. On June 1st. Your Honor, I requested payment. The defendant's excuse, sent via email, was a broken car transmission. She claimed to be broke. I then placed the next folder down. Exhibit C is a series of dated screenshots from the defendant's public social media. If you look at page 1, on June 2nd, the day after claiming to be broke, she posted this photo from a luxury spa. The cost was $200. Her caption was, "Needed this." I continued. On July 5th, I requested payment. The defendant's excuse was thousands of dollars in emergency vet bills. She claimed her cat was sick. If you look at Exhibit C, page 2, on that same weekend, she posted this photo from a wine tasting festival. Caption, "Living my best life." On August 10th, I requested payment. The defendant's excuse was a leaking roof, an emergency. She claimed all her money was gone. If you look at Exhibit C, page 3, on August 10th, she posted this photo of new designer shoes. The price was $800. Her caption was, "Self-care is not selfish." My voice was a monotone. This pattern of fraud continued for 6 months, until finally, 1 month ago, while claiming she was too tight on money to even discuss a payment plan, she sent me this text message. I placed Exhibit D down, the screenshot of the Dubai text, and this photo, the final page, a high-resolution color printout of Jessica, in first class, holding champagne, wearing a brand new Rolex watch. The judge looked at the photo. She looked at the spreadsheet. She looked at the promissory note. Then she looked at me. "Thank you, Ms. Miller. That is very clear," I said. "Thank you, Your Honor." I sat down. The judge looked at Jessica. "Défendant, your response." Jessica stood up. She was not as confident now. Her smirk was gone. She started to cry. "The waterworks. The performance. Your Honor." She sniffled. I don't know what to say. This is all a huge misunderstanding." The judge was not moved. "This looks like a signed contract. Ms. Miller, is this your signature on Exhibit A? Well? Yes. But," Jessica said, "it wasn't a real contract. It was just a family thing. She's my sister. She's always been the numbers person." I didn't even read it." "You didn't read a document for a $50,000 loan?" the judge asked. "I trusted her," Jessica cried. "And she's cold. She's always been jealous of me. She's twisting everything. Let's talk about what she is twisting," the judge said, holding up the folder. Exhibit C. "Did you post this photo from a spa?" "Yes. But that was a gift," Jessica lied. "And the wine tasting a friend took me. I didn't pay." "And the trip to Dubai?" the judge asked. "The first-class ticket, the Rolex watch. Was that also a gift?" "Yes," Jessica said, her voice high. It was a business trip. And the watch was a gift from a client. A stupid. Desperatelier." The judge stared at her. "A client. I see. And you are employed where?" "Ms. Miller," Jessica stammered. I do freelance consulting." "I'll bet you do," the judge said. Her voice was pure ice. "Let me be very clear. Ms. Miller, this court sees this dynamic every day. A responsible sibling, an irresponsible one, and the parents who fuel the fire. But this is not a family court. This is a court of law. You borrowed $50,000 from your sister. Your sister's life savings. You signed a legal document promising to repay it. Instead, you defaulted. And while you were in default, you went on a luxury spending spree. You posted your fraud on the internet for the entire world to see. You bragged about it. And you came into this courtroom today, wearing what appears to be the stolen property. Exhibit D. On your wrist, Jessica's face went white. She instinctively touched the watch. She had forgotten she was wearing it. This court takes a very dim view of fraud, the judge said, and it takes an even dimmer view of such blatant, arrogant theft from one's own family. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a betrayal. The judge looked at the paperwork. I am ruling in favor of the plaintiff. I did not react. I kept my face blank. Judgment is for the full amount of $50,000. My mother let out a small sob from the gallery. Furthermore, per the terms of the promissory note you signed, I am enforcing the 10% compounded interest clause, calculated from the date of default. That is an additional $5,200. Jessica's mouth fell open. Furthermore, I am enforcing the legal fees clause. The defendant will pay all of the plaintiff's legal costs. File the invoice with the court. Counsel. My lawyer nodded. The total judgment is $55,200. Plus legal fees. I am ordering the defendant to pay this full amount within 90 days. 90 days, Jessica gasped. I can't, I don't have that kind of money. The judge looked at her wrist. Then I suggest you sell your watch, she said. Next case. The judge hit the gavel. It was over. I stood up. I gathered my files. My lawyer shook my hand. Well done, he said. I walked out into the hallway. Jessica burst out of the door behind me. Her face was red and twisted with rage. You! She shrieked. She lunged at me. You've ruined me. You've ruined my life. I did not flinch. I did not move. No, I said. My voice was calm. You ruined yourself. Jessica, you chose a watch over your word. This is just the bill. I hate you, she screamed. My parents rushed out after her. Jessica, calm down, my father said. My mother ran up to me. Sarah, please, she begged. You can't do this to her. Stop this. You won. Can't you just forgive the money? She still did not get it. She still thought this was a game I could just stop. I looked at my mother. I looked at my father, who was trying to calm my hysterical, screaming sister. I saw the pattern, the endless, broken pattern, the fragile daughter, the enabling parents, the responsible one who had to pay, but the responsible one was free. I said nothing. I turned my back on them. I walked past my mother. I walked out of the courthouse. I did not look back. I walked out into the sunlight. I took a deep breath. I was finally, completely, free. The aftermath was exactly what I expected. Jessica did not pay in 90 days. Of course she did not. She thought she could hide. She thought I would give up. I did not. On day 91. I checked my bank account. 0. I called my lawyer. She hasn't paid. I said, I'm not surprised. He replied, we filed the writ of execution today. The next step was asset seizure. The court gave my lawyer the power to go after her. It was a systematic dismantling of her fake life. The first report came back. Her bank account was garnished. Total amount seized $412. She had spent everything. The next step, her car. A lien was placed. She was forced to sell it. I received a check from the court for $12,000. It was not enough. The next step, her property. The court officer went to her apartment. He had a list. My list. The designer bags, the shoes, and the Rolex. I heard about this from my cousin Mark, the one who had called me harsh. He called to apologize. Sarah, I had no idea, he said. She had a public meltdown at the jeweler's. They offered her far less than she claimed the watch was worth. She was screaming. It was embarrassing. I received another check, $22,000. Still not enough. She could not afford her apartment. She was evicted. She had to move in with my parents. The final step, wage garnishment. She was forced to get a low-wage retail job. She is, for the first time in her life, actually broke, and 15% of her paycheck comes directly to me. Every single month. It will continue for years. My parents are devastated. They complained to the family that I destroyed her. But the family saw the PDF. They know the truth. My parents are alone with their fragile daughter. They have to support her. They are trapped with her. That is their consequence. The checks came in last week. The final large payment from the asset sale arrived. My bank account is full again. With the $50,000, with the $5,000 in interest, with all my legal fees, paid in full. It is more than I started with. My spreadsheet is balanced. I took that money. I went to a bank. I was approved for a mortgage. 2 days ago. I closed on my first home. It is not a big house. It is a small, one-bedroom condo. It is quiet. It is clean. It is all mine. I am sitting on my new balcony. I am drinking a cup of coffee. A year ago, I was the family ATM. I was the responsible daughter, trapped by their expectations. I had $50,000 in the bank, but I was not free. Now, I have my house. I have no savings. My bank account is empty again. I have a mortgage to pay, but I have something more valuable. I look at the key in my hand. I did not just get my money back. I did not just buy a house. I bought my self-respect. I broke the pattern. And I finally have peace. This whole journey taught me a painful, but vital lesson. Sometimes, the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones holding you back. Sometimes, family is just a word people use to justify theft. And sometimes, the only way to save yourself is to hold them accountable, to burn the whole broken system to the ground. Thank you for listening to my story. If you have ever been the responsible one in your family, I hope this gives you strength. What do you think? Was I too harsh, or was this the only way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please, like, share, and subscribe for more stories about finding your strength. You are not alone.